Hey y'all, it's Whitney, your host for Impostrix Podcast. I am looking forward to this season. Welcome to the season premiere of season 4 of Impostrix Podcast. We are shooting from a studio. This is my first time. If you've seen my Instagram, then you've seen the videos of me walking around because it is beautiful. It is amazing. We are starting the season off right, making sure that we're bringing you quality content. My guest today is Lala, and I'm going to bring her in a second, but this is actually her studio, Studio 111 in Forest Park, Georgia. So season 4, we are talking about pouring into Black women. This is so important because we're tired. I'm tired. So what better way than to start this season by talking about joy, by talking about fun, by talking about what we do to make sure that we're smiling today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Lala. Welcome to Impostrix Podcast Season 4. My name is Whitney and I am your host. Thanks for joining us for this episode. I am excited to jump into it. Impostrix Podcast validates professionals of color navigating imposter experiences and racial toxicity within their careers. And this season, we are focusing exclusively on pouring into Black women. How can we take care of the Black women in our lives? If we are a Black woman, how can we pour into ourselves? How can we receive the pour from others? So this episode is going to be about that and all the episodes within this season. So sit back, get your listening ears on. Let's get into it. Hey, Lala.
Hey, boo. How's it going?
Good. I am so happy to be here. Thank you for having us in the studio.
Of course.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much. I worked so hard on it.
I can tell, even down to the little details. So yeah, I love it. Welcome to Impostrix Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this interview.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We're about to talk about some good stuff. So let me introduce you a little bit.
Okay.
Your name is Lala, and you are the owner of 111 Studios. Yes, you are also an entrepreneur, and you're the host of Poppin' After 30.
Woo, woo, woo.
And I actually listened on the way here.
Oh.
Yes, because I wanted...
Oh, Lord.
I wanted to get to know you.
Okay.
I wanted to get to know you. We've had a little pre-recording conversation a while back, and then we've talked a bunch today, but I wanted to get to know you, and I love it when my guests are podcast hosts because then I get to know what your style is in podcasting.
Yes, definitely.
And so, yes. So I enjoyed it. It was the episode about friends. It was your most recent episode.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, good. Because it get a little ratchet. So I didn't know what side of the spectrum you was on. But good. Yes, that was a good episode. Yes, definitely.
Awesome. So I always like to start my show by asking people what identities they are bringing. Okay. Besides, of course, what I've shared about you. Who are you?
I am a Black girl from California, only child, born to a Southern mother and father, and just independently out here in Atlanta doing my own thing, trying to forge my own path.
Wow. So your family's still in California?
Yeah. So my mother and her sisters are still in California. Majority of my family is in Arkansas. So they're only about 6 hours away from here.
Interesting.
So I've been trying to convince my mama to come on out here, but she just don't want to come back to the South for some reason. Yeah. She like Cali. So that's where she gonna stay at.
So are you first generation born in California as far as like being from the north? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So my parents and their parents, of course, they're all from the South. But then me, my cousins, we're all first generation born in California. But it's only a small amount of us. Everybody else is still in Arkansas.
Yeah. I was going to say born in the North, but obviously California isn't the North. But it feels North compared to the South.
Yes. Yes.
But I asked because I'm a granddaughter of the Great Migration.
Yeah.
My family is from Mississippi and Virginia. My mom's side moved from Mississippi to Chicago.
Yeah.
And then my dad's side moved from Virginia to Philadelphia.
Yes.
And then they moved, when they met up in Chicago, my parents, out to the West Coast to Seattle. And it always felt, they were the only ones that moved to Seattle. Yeah. So I have a lot of family in the Midwest and in Philadelphia, but I had no family in Seattle.
Yeah.
And so That was an interesting experience.
Very interesting. And then when you talk to them, it's like two different types of people. Because, and then it's so funny that you said the Great Migration, because yes, everybody was trying to get out of the South, but here we are returning. Because I remember when I first moved here, I read an article about the exodus from the West, and people were returning back to the South because economically it was more affordable. So you look at us coming back where our parents were trying to escape.
Yeah, it's interesting. It really is interesting to think about, like, the opportunity that our parents left for.
Yes.
Or that for me, that my grandparents left for.
Yes.
But yeah, like, I came back down here because I wanted to be around other people of color.
Yes.
Specifically Black people.
Yes.
I wanted to be around Black people, and I don't know, I just wanted to know what the culture was about, because I didn't grow up in Black culture.
Yep. Yeah, and it's the same too for California. There were Black people, but I wouldn't call it a Black culture. It was a salad bowl or melting pot. It was everybody, Asian, Mexican. It was everyone. I didn't have just one specific race. You kicked it with everybody. So it was very shocking, even visiting the South and seeing how many Black people there were. I mean, there were in the restaurants, they was delivering your mail, they were, picking up your trash. I mean, from every aspect, it was Black. So this is definitely Atlanta, the Black Mecca.
It is. And there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do. There's a lot, but it comes with some drama. It comes with some problems. But yeah, it's been great. And one of the things that I've really loved being able to explore about Atlanta and about Black culture is this idea of Black fun and Black joy.
Yes.
And seeing people, because where I grew up, the other thing was, it was a very segregated city, Seattle is. So there was white parts, there were Asian parts, there were Black parts, there were Ethiopian parts, there were Eritrean parts, there were Samoan parts, there were, all the different parts. But the Black parts were people living in poverty.
Yes.
And so there wasn't, whenever my family would be out, and I grew up middle class, so the neighborhood that I grew up in was very multiracial. And when I would be going out to, I don't know, experience the Mariners game, for example, with my family, or a Sonics game back when the Sonics were there, or a festival, I wouldn't often see a lot of people that looked like me.
Yes.
I wouldn't see people having fun. My experience of Black folks in Seattle was not having fun.
Right.
And so I love being in a space where, one, I'm not the only, but two, like, I'm getting to see people thrive and have, like, the full range of life experience, including joy. And I really find that, it gives me, not permission, I never didn't have permission, but, like, there's a lot of things for me to try without feeling like I'm the only person. Like, I could go throw some hammers or some axes, excuse me.
Right.
And I'm not going to be the only Black person up in there throwing axes.
I still want to try that. I haven't done that yet. I heard girls are better at it than boys. That's what I heard, because men be trying to use their whole strength, and it don't take all of that. It just take a little, But I definitely, that's amazing. Yeah, definitely.
So I want to ask you, because today's episode, we're talking about having fun.
Yes.
And you, as I mentioned, you are a business owner. You are an entrepreneur. It sounds like you're the only one in your family out here.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, at this point in your life, what do you do for fun? What's fun for you?
So before being an entrepreneur, fun was brunches. Fun was, travel, weekends, getaway. The great thing about living in the South as opposed to the West Coast is that everything is on this side of the coast. So 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive, you're at the destination versus a 5-6 hour flight. So it was just filled with fun, networking with people who look like you, who are doing the same thing. They're on the path as you. And no matter from the workplace to just meeting people out, it was always a good social vibe. Now, on this side of entrepreneurship, It's totally different, and I had to learn to schedule that time in, because I would talk to my friends and they would be like, girl, I ain't seen you in weeks, and I don't even realize it's been weeks. It's like time is even different.
Yes.
On the entrepreneur side. So one thing I did have to do that I noticed that I do a lot now is I use the networking and the social events to my benefit. So the conferences and the networking events, those are fun for me. And I've met friends there, and I'm able to network and socialize at the same time. And then that also will elevate me to put me in certain circles that I want to be in anyways. Yeah. So it's still fun. It's just a different type of fun than that turnip fun that, that I was doing a year or two ago. It's now a networking blazer type of fun. So and it's very, I would say it's more inspiring than going to the club, going to the lounge, drinking until you pass out. Even though those days are great, but now everything has more meaning and connection and networking.
Yeah, and I think you're right about it feels like a grown person fun.
Yes.
And not in the way of I'm going to the grown and sexy club tonight, but like my time has a reason.
Yes.
Like what I'm doing, everything has a reason. And I think for me, there are times when I definitely need that, when I need that type of organization and intentionality in my life. But there are other times where I'm just going too far with it. Yeah. Like I just need to go do something for fun without, thinking about networking, without making sure I got a stack of business cards, without, all this stuff. And as I've been learning how to live entrepreneurship and how to become a CEO, it's like so much of it has been about sharing my business, sharing my message, sharing my passion, sharing whatever it's going to be. And not just about like being here and being present.
Right.
And so one of the struggles that I have is finding that time for just like good, simple fun.
Yes.
And I'm glad my kids make me do that.
Yeah.
Especially right now during the holidays. We be going all over the place. We be going to look at Christmas lights. Matter of fact, I put up Christmas lights in the house.
Look at you.
Yes, I did. Simply because I knew how much my kids liked it.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, I actually like this too.
Right.
I actually think that's fun. It's jolly.
It's around this time where I do wish I had kids, because I want to go to the pumpkin patch. Like I want to go pick strawberries. I'm like, I can't be out there. They're gonna be like, ma'am, what's your grown self doing out here? I'm like, I want to do the fun little holiday stuff.
But you can do it. We go. So we've gone picking strawberries as a family, but we see people there on dates all the time. And but if you go on a date, one thing I hate seeing is people on a farm in their heels. Why? Is this like did he tell you where you were going?
No, they did. You know what? Let me tell you. We're going to have to do another episode.
Have you done this? I bet you've done it. Have you shown up on a farm in heels?
Not in no farm. First of all, I don't wear heels on any date. Okay? Number one. I remember, we're going to have to do another episode on dating, because dating in Atlanta is atrocious. I remember this one man told me, he said, I'm going to take you to Longhorn. I said, okay. Longhorn? I like Longhorn.
Right.
Wear some heels. Sir,
no.
I'm not wearing no heels to Longhorn next to the senior citizen special. You gonna get this Nike jogging suit and my Jordans, and we gonna go eat. Like, what are you saying? No, I'm not even that girl that wear heels to the airport. I don't even understand that either.
Me.
I don't get that either. I don't know what y'all thinking about.
But if it's fun, okay.
They be trying to impress that man, girl. You better put some slides on.
But moral of the story is, you don't have to have children or little people around you to go to some of those things, because I'm glad that you mentioned that. I love doing that. Yeah. I didn't know. And the strawberries taste so fresh. Straight from the vine.
I've been wanting to go to that little sunflower field.
Yes.
And then I want to see Moana. I don't want to
Go
wait.
see Moana.
I don't want to wait
in
until...
theaters. No, go see it in theaters.
Okay. All
It's
right.
good.
I'm like, let me snatch somebody kid to go so I ain't looking crazy up in here with all these children.
Right. Mufasa's coming out. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Okay. I'm going to have to just roll up there. Forget the kids. I'm going.
It reminds me of when I was single and I was studying for the bar exam. Every Sunday, I would take basically the day off or half the day off and take myself on a date. And my date would always be like some fancy coffee shop. I was in Austin, Texas, and so coffee was like $7 at that time.
Yeah.
And then I would go to a movie. And it was also a time in my life when I was like being intentional about not dating.
Right.
And so I was trying to date myself.
Yes.
Which felt very awkward. Similar to what you're saying, like I felt like I can't go to a movie by myself.
Right.
Like that's weird. Who does that? I did. I loved it.
It was good.
Because I got to do whatever I wanted to do when I got to sit where I wanted to sit.
Yeah, true.
I got to get popcorn and not share with anybody.
Yes.
If I didn't like the movie, I would just get up and go instead of having to sit there. Like I got to go the time of day that I wanted to go, and I took a lot of joy really out of just taking that time for myself.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think this year that's one of the things that I want to go back to is more intentional time with myself to do the things that I like to do.
You know what? You just inspired me because I used to do those things, especially when I first moved here and I didn't know nobody. I had to. Like, otherwise I would have been in the house.
You
I would have never
by yourself.
Right. So I had to. I had to go to the coffee shop and meet people and go out there and do a museum day. And I think I may just get back to that because I'm really big on solo travel. I've traveled around the world by myself. And the most exuberating experience I've ever had in my life was getting on a plane and going to Paris or going to London, going to Bali, wherever, and spending that week by myself, navigating a whole new city, new language, new whatever, by yourself. If you don't know what strong and confident is, that will put all of that to the test. And I absolutely loved it because, first of all, people be so scared. Ain't nobody checking for you, girl. Ain't nobody out here. I mean, things happen, but they can happen right down the street from your house. Like fear will always put you get you in the way of achieving your goals. Like you can't be fearful. You got to go out and do it and achieve. Like that's the biggest thing. If you got to go alone sometimes.
Yeah, I think for me, I lived so much of my life just kind of not taking things too seriously. But then in my 30s, everything changed.
Yes.
Like all of a sudden I'm an actual adult. I don't know. Because like 20s felt like fun.
Yes.
Like the turn up fun, I literally don't have to care about that I have work in the morning.
Right.
I can still go out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to pay these bills. And I don't mind robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
Like, it was much more carefree and much more just, like, enjoy.
Yeah.
But the 30s, fun.
But it's a hint of seriousness.
It's adult fun.
Yeah.
And so you talked a little bit about how things have changed since becoming an entrepreneur and how you think about fun and joy. What about as you've aged?
Yeah, so that's why I'm glad you brought up Popping After 30, my podcast. That's literally what the podcast is about. Because when we turned 30, we thought it was over. I thought it was over. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm old. Oh my God, I'm used up. What's life? And 30s is actually when life starts.
Yes.
I mean, 20, we were irresponsible. It was okay for you to quit that job and not have another job. It was okay for you to, make the mistakes. But in your 30s, it's like, okay, now I need to be focused more on my health. I need to be focused on the people around me. Now, money really matters. Credit really matters. And so me and my best friend got together and we made the podcast, Popping After 30, to talk about these issues and still let you know you can still be popping after 30. It ain't over. Like, it's still popping. And now that I'm approaching 40, it has been lit. I'm not going to lie. 30s is your 20s, but with more money.
Yeah.
And you have to be more responsible with more money and good credit and all these things now. Because now you have family, you got husband, you got boyfriend, you got all these responsibilities. You have to make a plan and you have to start achieving your goals because now you have the rest of your life to think about. So as I've aged, I had to really get serious, and I'm really big, and anybody who knows me know I'm big on credit. There's so many people who have the dream of wanting to be a millionaire, but if your credit ain't right, you are way further away from that dream than you'll ever be. It's quicker for you to be a millionaire with a 700 plus credit score than with a 400 credit score. So I'm really big on credit and finances because using other people's money is how you get rich. But those are lessons that I had to learn with mistakes. Me having terrible credit for all those years and then deciding I need to get my credits together. This is not working. It's nothing I'm doing is working. I need to focus on credit. So just having those life lessons in your 30s is it's been an exhilarating experience, learning about friendships. Like you said, that episode you listened to about friendships, evaluating the people around you. You don't even know that the people around you could be the reason why you're in a place that you're in. Having that team around you that will support you and pull you up when you don't feel like it, get you out the bed when you don't feel like getting it out, that is so much more important than anything else than having 100 friends in a club or going on a girls trip or whatever. So those are just life lessons that you learn as you get older. The 30s is lit. I like it. I love it. Now that I'm approaching 40, I'm like,
give me 30s back. I want my 30s back. So let's pause a minute and just get real. You do everything for everybody. But have you taken a moment to care for future you? Getting your affairs in order isn't just about wills or trusts. It's about peace of mind for you and love for those that you leave behind. Ideally, we should all have an estate plan. And if you're in Georgia, Wills for the People can help you out. But if you're not ready yet to create your will or trust, there's something that you can do that will go a long way in helping the future you. And that is to get organized. The I Plan for This Life Organizer for when it's needed is a workbook designed to help you organize your life with clarity and ease, making it so that if someone needs to care for you or for your affairs because you're not able to, they have all of the information that they need. No stress, no confusion, just a record made by you, about you. Visit willsforthepeoplega.com to get your copy, because you deserve to be prepared and to have your loved ones prepared. Again, that's willsforthepeoplega.com and click on the workbook tab. Back to the show. Every birthday I have like a crisis because I'm just like, I can't believe I'm this old.
Yeah.
Because it feels like I literally just turned 22 or 23.
Yeah.
Like where did the time go? And I think the older that I get also, again, I have a family. Now I got 2 businesses. Mm-hmm. We got all sorts of bills. And it feels like I have to try harder to have fun because there is so much to worry about. As a Black woman, there's so much caregiving that I feel compelled to do. Some of it is, I have young kids. I do actually have to caregive. But others of it is, this internalized and societal message that Black women are going to fix the things. So now I just insert myself into other people's problems. I listened to a TikTok video today that I shared that it was this Black woman who was like, "Ooh, I'm so glad that I caught you. Today, you are going to work and that is it. You are not going to overachieve. You are not going to get into other people's business."
Okay.
And I'm like, I need this speech every day. Because it's not even like, she was talking specifically about work, which I get because that used to be me when I worked for somebody else and had coworkers. But even in my home life or my friend life, when somebody comes to me and they say or they look upset or whatever, now they don't even have to say anything. It's on me. Like I take it as, let me fix that.
Yes.
And I will be going around the world to try and fix somebody else's problem, and we ain't got time for that.
When I tell you I just had this conversation, and I think the election is a good example of this. When that black woman said she was running for president, and the way every black woman in the world stood up and said, we got you, sis. And when she lost, we carried that burden like we were supposed to be the fixers of the world. That really angered me. Because it's not our job. It is not our job to carry the weight of the world and the decisions of other people. Not even your own family, not even the decisions of your children. Because they're going to grow up and they're going to make their own decisions. And at some point, you can't come in and save the day every time somebody makes a mistake. And one thing I learned in entrepreneurship is that I don't have the brain capacity to focus on what you got going on, because I didn't invest in my whole savings and everything into this. This is my realm of everything. I'm sorry, sis, I can't pour into that or into that or into that if it's not related or tying back to this. And sometimes we need to isolate ourselves in that manner to focus on what we got going on, what we doing, and if nobody's pouring into that, then we can't be this outpouring of love to come and save the world. It's not our job as black women to be the saviors of society.
You're so right. You are so right. And it's as much for me an unlearning process as it is a having boundaries with everybody else. Because like I said, I will try and fix my husband's problems all day long.
That's a grown man.
When he could care less. He could really care less about the things that I'm inserting myself in, trying to help him.
Yep.
Like, and I just have to, what you said about capacity, you know, I'm thinking about my cup, and my cup is full. Yeah. It's full just from the things that are actually my responsibility.
Right.
And the things that are my actual investments that I want to be invested in, that I want to be learning about, or the ways that I want to be growing. There is no other space for all this other stuff. And frankly, many days it feels like there's not space for all the stuff that I want to be doing. So I'm having to shed. I'm having to shed some things. And I think, you know, the impetus for me with this conversation is around acknowledging, we talk a lot about self-care, and, you know, we all know it can't just be I'm going to the nail salon today, once a month or whatever. But one thing that I don't feel or experience in the self-care conversation is fun.
Yes.
Like, can I play a board game today?
Right.
Can I, like, play Uno? So my kids are learning Uno. They're at that age where they can start playing games. And so one of the things that brings me joy is playing games, with them or without them. But, like, I love now that they're getting to the age where they can play games with us, because for the last 7 years, it's been me and my husband trying to play games after 7 p.m. when they went to bed, or after 8, and we tired because we old now.
Right, yeah,
like,
we old.
We can't be playing games at 8, 9, 10 o'clock because
I'm in the bed.
Try starting Monopoly at 9 o'clock, please.
That bonnet, as soon as that bonnet is on, everything is shut down. Nothing is going on.
Yes. Yeah. So I was drawn to you because of your podcast, because I'm like, well, let me think, like, what do I like to do? You know, I hate those, like, hobby questions, the icebreaker questions of, like, what do you like to do for fun? Or, like, tell me something about yourself that nobody else knows. And I'm like, my life is public.
Yes.
And the things that aren't public are, I guess, the fun things. I don't know. But, like, I don't know what to tell you. I used to like cooking before I had to cook for people.
Right. Everything is all fun and games until it becomes a job.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's been, and even, you know, I have had to figure out a way to manage podcasting, because podcasting started as fun, hobby, and an outlet.
Yes.
But doing things like this today is fun, is a way to make it fun again, instead of making it like, oh, okay, I got to get this episode out. I got to get it, you know, sent to wherever it needs to be sent to.
Yeah.
So I wonder for you, like, when people ask you, what do you like to do for fun? What is your hobby? Like, are there things that you've lost touch with that you used to love to do, that you would say? Like sports for me is one of them.
Yeah.
I used to love me some sports.
Yeah.
I used to like going to sporting events, playing sports, being active in the streets, playing street basketball. No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. For me, I used to love hosting. I love throwing a good shindig, a game night, or just seeing all my people that I love in one place, eating, having fun, drinking, talking mess, catching up. I used to love doing that. I haven't hosted a barbecue or a game night or something in so long because everything I host is at the studio. Yeah. It's always content or business related. And my friends, they come, you know what I'm saying? They'll come and show out, but it hasn't been like fun, like dominoes and spades and somebody on the grill.
Lord, yes.
So like, dang, you really got me thinking on that because it's been a couple years since I've had something at the house in the backyard. Like, it's been a minute. My backyard look a mess. I haven't even went back there. Like,
well, it's winter now, so.
Yeah, it's winter. But I mean, during the summer, I was just out the window looking like furniture set, still covered up. Like, this look crazy. But dang, that is something I really haven't. You really got my wheels turning on that. I haven't had a gathering with my friends in a very long time. I'm gonna have to do that.
You should plan it.
I need to plan that.
Because I think it's so important because we can't just be living to work.
Yes.
Even though, like, especially as entrepreneurs, supposedly we're doing the things that we want to do, right?
Right.
So even though it's that, like, we still can't. That's not the point for me, like, of being an entrepreneur. The point for me of being an entrepreneur was, like, flexibility.
Yeah.
Being able to do what I want to do and not have to, respond or be accountable to a boss, if you will.
Yeah.
And being able to be creative. And, like, even that creativity piece, sometimes I lose in the whole rigmarole of I'm running a business.
Collaborating and meeting people and being creative, and you're doing this thing that you've planned and you can see it to come to life. But on the reality side of it is that when the finances and the ends doesn't justify the means, and when that doesn't hit, then that's the realness behind entrepreneurship. Like, it got to make sense, literal dollars and cents, in order for it to sustain. And if not, it's just a hobby and this little thing that you do on the side and be doing a tax write-off every year.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
I think for me in this next season, I want to focus more on having, like, fun that I actually think is fun. So not fun for other people, not like, oh, my kids want to play a game and I like watching them play games, so that's fun. Like, no, I want, like, Whitney fun. And I'm even, like, now trying to think about what that might be. Maybe, like, doing a cooking class because I still love, like, I like food. I like to eat. But I love being able to make a dish that I'm proud of and, like, feeding people. So that would be fun. What else? I like improv.
Really?
And let me not say that. I've never done improv. But in every situation in which I found myself needing to do some type of acting, I really like it. And so most recently, that's been those, like, escape rooms. Have you done an escape room?
No, I haven't. I wanted to.
So the escape rooms that I've done, it's like you go in there and it's a puzzle.
Yes.
And you are trying to master all the clues, to answer all the clues, and then the last clue, gives you the key for the room or whatever. But what I didn't know when I started doing escape rooms was that, like, for a lot of these escape rooms, it's you are assigned a character.
Yeah. Oh.
And so you are acting out like
like the chef and the who did it and was it the doctor? Was it the maid?
It's like a mix of like a mystery, murder mystery night.
Oh my
Except for it's not always murder.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last one that I did. I don't even remember what it was. But I had so much fun. It was so funny. It was funny watching other people. It was like a team bonding for my old work. And it was hilarious watching other people just get out of themselves a little bit. And so I really wanted to try improv because
I know someone that does the classes. So I'll give you that.
It makes me a little nervous because I am very serious about myself.
Yeah. It'll give you, because I went to creative performing arts high school.
Oh.
So I've been in plays and stuff. That acting thing really brings another side of confidence.
Yeah.
And it's just like you said, you get to step outside of yourself and be somebody else for a little bit of time and play this part that's in this bigger role or this bigger scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and I would even like even if I'm not in doing improv, like going to improv shows or comedy, because, you know, sometimes comedy can feel like improv, basically, like stand up and stuff like that. I want to do more of that this year.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. What do you want to do?
I want to get more. I know everything's gonna always be related to this studio.
Nope. It's not work related, not networking. I'm gonna host my friends in the studio. No, something else.
Because I was gonna say I want to get a photography class, but okay, something else. Dang, it's gonna be related. Everything is like DIY. I want to learn how to wallpaper and do more set design, but that's still content related.
You're failing.
I'm failing at fun. I really am. And what's crazy is that I'm so conditioned, right? Because I've been in this for a year now, and it's been every day from the time I close my eyes to waking I'm like, what can I do? What's new out there? What can I add? But I'm definitely, maybe the fun is to stop and to pull away for a few days and
go strawberry picking.
Right, and do something that is unrelated to this studio, because when your girl is zoned in, honey, like I don't even see nobody else in the room. It's me and the goal. Like, we're on it. So that is something you didn't.
But you know what might be fun though? So going back to the farm has, and I go to Southern Belle Farm.
Okay.
It has like a bunch of areas where you can take pictures. So it's got like old farm trucks and signs and basically little mini sets.
Oh.
You could do seasonal sets, like do one studio that's like a seasonal set.
Okay.
And like, I feel like it would be fun to go like to create that.
Right.
You know?
Right, yeah.
And so like you can be going places for inspiration, and like you can go pick some sunflowers and have your little sunflowers as your little table setting for one of your studios.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that might be fun. Halloween would be amazing.
Oh, yes.
Like doing a Halloween set. I'm sure there would be people too who would utilize that type of space. So
yeah, if you come back in a couple weeks, that back area Christmas is gonna be lit. I'm about to transform it into a whole Christmas, because I have Christmas photography shoots lined up for the holidays. So
that's good to hear. Yeah. So maybe that could be something that's
I know. Help me out. Help me, please. Somebody come help me, please.
I don't know. I need like listeners to be like, no, Whitney, don't give her that idea.
Right, because
that still
work. I know it still work, but I can't even be mad because I absolutely love it. Like having you come here and this be your first in person, like that is something I'm like, yes, girl, come to the studio. But girl, come to the studio. But wait, how we gonna fit? Come to this studio and record this episode. Like, let's do it. Like, I got a place, let's do it. So that's the type of connection that I live for, and what I'm doing every day. So it's kind of hard to step away when you meet great people like yourself and that are doing great things and just making impact on the world. I can't step away. I got to keep going full throttle.
That's amazing, and that's great. Not everybody got that. So it's amazing that you do. I'm chuckling because when we were setting up, I'm just sitting here minding my own business. But when I tell you that shout out to Chris with Digital Rim, who is doing the producing right now, and Lala had all the stuff. They were looking at all the little pieces of the room. And I'm over here like, it looks good. And they're like, well, let me get the lighting. Let me get the shadow boxes. Let me get some plants up in the corner. I'm like, okay.
Girl, production, honey.
It's a skill. You guys are so creative.
I'm like, move this chord, move this, center this. I'm like, hey, because I want it to look good. If it look good for you, it look good for me and 111 Studios. And I can be like, snippet content for me. Thanks for this content.
Yes, it looks great.
Yes.
So I'll be posting on Instagram and TikTok some of the behind the scenes because, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. So for me, it's interesting. Maybe it'll be interesting for y'all too. But all right, Lala, thank you so much for having me here, for being on the show. Can you again share about the studio for people that are here in Atlanta or Georgia or who are coming by?
Yes, of course. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad you chose 111 Studios and you chose to sit on this couch with me. I appreciate it. But 111 Studios located in Forest Park, Georgia. Check out all of the pictures and videos in the different studios. It's 6 different content spaces, studio spaces for you to do podcasting, videography, photography, co-working space. If you have a small event space for you to promote your product, promote your brand, promote your platform, anything that you need here, I can assist you with at 111 Studios. Go to www.111studios.com or you can follow me on Instagram at one.11studios and follow me. Message me, DM, I respond to DMs, and schedule a tour today at www.111studios.com.
Thank you, Lala. And as you were talking, so one of the things in my late 30s that I am learning about is giving myself what I want, but like paying for things.
Yes.
And like just kind of the investment, like I'm turning up the investment a notch a little bit in myself. And it reminds me, like, in younger years, I used to be like, oh, we don't need to go to a photography studio to take pictures. Or I don't need to go to the nail salon to get my nails done. Or I don't need to, do this thing. And sometimes we don't. But since we're talking about fun and joy, I know a lot of my friends who love taking pictures, who love getting glammed up and, like, putting on a production for themselves just to take 35th birthday pictures or whatever. And so I'm here to say, do it. I will say it feels so good to be in a studio recording. Yes. And so for me, I think this is the equivalent of like paying for professional photos and then getting those photos back and being like, well, damn.
Yes.
Like that does look good.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the investment. And like you said, just invest in yourself. I mean, you can have this set up at home, that's cool, but do you want to bring people to your house when you want to have a guest? What if you have a celebrity guest? You going to bring them to your living room, or do you want a professional setup that, with a professional team and it looks professional, and then that's the type of clientele that you want to bring? So what you invest in is going to determine your outcome. And invest in a studio. My studio is very affordable. I work with entry-level creators that it's their first time, or maybe they have something and they're trying to step it up. So come to 111 Studios. I got you. I got you, girl.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Impostrix Podcast. I hope that you got what you needed. If you're ready for more, feel free to go through the other 3 seasons worth of amazing episodes that we've put together for you. I want to hear from you. I want to know how you related to this episode. So if you're listening on Spotify, feel free to answer the question or send a text. You can do that through your Spotify app. If you're listening elsewhere, make sure that you follow me on Instagram at Impostrix Podcast. And if you like to text, go ahead, go to the show notes, look for the link for the WhatsApp community, because we just got it started this season for season 4, and I love to chat, so hit me up. Also, thank you to Chris at Digital REM for editing this episode. Until next time, be validated.